Got it. Go ahead. And we're about to start, so.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is the detention docket for the 3/23rd for Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. As we are approaching the end of the coronavirus crisis, we're going to be soon wrapping up the Zoom hearings. But we're still under the current orders, which require remote sessions. And so we're using Zoom for the detention hearing to comply with the Open Courts Act of the Texas Constitution. We are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube to give the public meaningful access to what happens inside their courtrooms. This is still a court proceeding and court hearing. The court does expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. That means your camera needs to be on and you need to be centered on the camera. Please do not have bright lights behind your head, as that tends to shadow out your face. And please behave appropriately. Do not lay down in bed. Please be dressed appropriately. Do not use illegal substances, consume alcohol or tobacco while in court. Please do not have moving backgrounds, since that's distracting for all the people. So I guess Nicole's mother, if you could please turn on your camera and we can get started. Nicole's mother, this is my second request to turn on your camera. All right. And Nicole's mother, this is your third and final request to turn your camera on. Remove her. All right, of course, if you're an officer of the court, feel free to turn off your camera as you find necessary. All right, we'll start with Hector Archival. Hector?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning. I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. Your attorney, Mr. Adler, is here present. Good morning, Mr. Adler.
Good morning, Judge.
So Hector, let's see, you were on probation from, last January, or last June, we placed you on probation for aggravated robbery with a knife. And so you're on probation and we got a referral from Fort Worth PD for unlawful transfer of a handgun. According to the police report, they were dispatched for a shooting call. When they got there, met with Fort Worth firefighters who was treating a juvenile for a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And on investigation, he had said that he was given the gun by Hector Arevalo to store for him the night before. And there's a Snapchat video that Hector uploaded. And in the video, they can see an arm with a gun being fired. There's a Glock with extended magazine and threaded barrel. The gun from an account named Hector. The gun located in Larry's room was a Glock 17 with a matching threaded barrel and extended magazine. And he tested positive for marijuana. All right, so Hector, you understand my policy as kids with guns is I always detain them and make sure that things are safe to release them. And it'll be safe for the community as well as the child. Your probation officer is asking me to release you on electronic monitor. All right, so Ms. Montalongo, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, so help me out with this one. I mean, he just got on probation for aggravated robbery. He's smoking weed, and he ends up with a gun and transfers it to another juvenile. Like, why? Like, I'm trying to figure out why we release him to the community. Why aren't we filing to revoke his probation?
Your Honor, we did revoke his probation. He has been staying sober during his probation, but he did relapse because of the stress of the new case. And that's the reason why he recently used. But prior to that, he has been staying clean.
Yeah,
and he has been following his house rules.
Right. But before that, he also had threatened to shoot up a school and got probation for that.
No, Your Honor, he made a threat at a bus.
At a bus. Okay, threatening to shoot a bus. So when he was on probation, was he on EM at all?
Yes, Your Honor, he's been on the EM before, and he did very well.
Can you tell me the details of how was the gunshot wound? Was it accidental discharge, or did the child try to commit suicide? Do you know what happened?
On the report, it says it was accidental. We don't have any more information other than that.
Okay, so you got to level 1 outstanding on March 4th. How far did he drop?
Your Honor, he was on level 1 since February 17th, and then he dropped on 3-4 for majoring for several infractions. I dropped him to unacceptable, which dropped him to a level 2, and then he got back on level 1 on 3-4.
What did he do?
According to the infractions, he said that he had some not doing his classwork, and he had some gang drawings. But I spoke with Hector, and he said that it was a kid behind him, and that he asked to speak with the supervisor 3 days back to back, and they never came to see him to correct the infractions. As of today, we have not had any problems with Hector with any kind of gang activity.
So is his case a determinate sentence or indeterminate sentence?
As of today, they just filed a
I meant the aggravated robbery that he's on probation for.
It's indeterminate.
Indeterminate. Was anybody injured in that case?
Yes, they did hit physically. The victim, he was hit with a fist.
Okay. Was there restitution in that probation?
Yes, Your Honor, there was.
How's he done on restitution payments?
He hasn't been making his payments, Your Honor. Family struggling at this time. Sometimes their phones are getting cut off.
How far behind is he on restitution?
Let me check, Your Honor.
Okay.
I believe. Your Honor, he's $466 total, and he's behind $149.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm willing to release him on electronic monitor as long as he stays on level 1-0 and he catches up on restitution payments. And the reason why, Hector, is because if you have money for marijuana that you're testing positive for, then you have money for restitution. All right. And then before I interrupt you, if you want to respond, saying if somebody gave you the weed, then if you're going to make that admission, then you're going to tell us who gave you the weed, because that's a separate criminal offense. So either y'all come up with the money to pay the restitution for the person that you robbed so we can make them whole, or that, I mean, we need to look about doing some of your case because you're on probation for aggravated robbery and then you find yourself in possession of a gun, allegedly. So if your parents can catch up and get current on restitution, I want to let you go on electronic monitoring. All right. Thank you, Hector.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Adler, is Daniel Garcia available? I know it's kind of out of order, but the next one's a female. Y'all happen to have Daniel Garcia available? Do we know which pod he's in?
Whenever she'll get offended or something.
Okay, let's just quickly do Nicole Brantley.
Thank you, Judge.
And then Mr. Adler will get back. Here's the next one after that.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Brantley, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Nicole. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days and have to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. By keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'll provide one for you. We have appointed Ms. Lothorpe as your attorney. Ms. Lothorpe, are you here? Ms. Lothorpe? All right. Mary, who's the attorney for the day? All right, Ms. Hopkins, I'm going to ask you to substitute in for Ms. Lothorpe.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right,
Good morning.
Nicole. So I saw somebody on Zoom that said Nicole's mom. I'm assuming it's yours, but they wouldn't turn their camera on, so I removed them from Zoom. Okay. So that's just to let you know. I guess, are you dad here for Nicole?
Yes, sir. She
Okay.
couldn't figure out how to turn her camera on.
Right. I'm sorry. It's just one of those we try and accommodate parents who can't make it, but if they can't make it, then we just can't. We can only devote so many resources.
Right.
All right. So Nicole, let's see. You were here in November of 19 for possession of controlled substance, penalty group 3, under 28 grams, possession of a dangerous drug, both of those misdemeanors, and possession of a controlled substance under 1 gram of penalty group 1, which is a felony. And then now, Tarrant County Sheriff's Office brought you in. They're saying about 2:15 yesterday morning, there's a traffic stop for speeding and driving on the shoulder. You were identified as the driver and seen hiding an unknown object, which looked like a glass pipe under a blanket. So they did a search, found the glass pipe with clear liquid, and you said it was liquid meth, and it did test positive in the field for, well, Mr. Lahara, I'm assuming test positive for methamphetamine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and we gave you a drug test when you came in. You were positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine. And so, Dad, my question is, where was she supposed to be yesterday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Supposed to be at at her grandmother's.
Okay. Is she staying with her grandmother? Grandpa?
Yes.
Dad, she is?
Yes.
How long has she been staying there?
Since Christmas.
Okay. So my question, I guess the obvious question is, why is she staying with her parents?
Well, she doesn't want to stay with me, but she doesn't stay with her mother because they fight all the time. And then there's Uncle Tim. There's a third party in this situation that she lives with, has lived with for the last 2 years. And that's where she stayed also.
Okay. I mean, would you like her to stay with you? Is it
I
just
would love for her to stay with me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really concerned about the street drug use, the methamphetamine use. I'm sure you are as well. I'm sure Mom is. I'm sure everyone is. So Nicole, this is actually really simple for me. I'm going to detain you. I let you go last time. I remember that. So at this point, I'm going to detain you. And then whenever you get to the point where you're saying, I'm going to go home and live with my dad and follow all his rules and his instruction and his limitations, then I'm going to let you go and live with your dad. You're going to be on electronic monitor, you can have a sweat patch, and we're going to keep track of you. But I need you to get to level 1 outstanding here so I know that you can follow all the rules. And when I release you to dad, you're going to follow all of his rules. If you give him any kind of attitude, if you refuse to do what he says, if you're slow to do what he says, then he's required to let us know, and we'll just bring you back here, and we're going to do this back and forth over and over again. All right. So Nicole, those are your options. Prove to me you can follow the rules, then I'm going to let you go. But if I let you go, it's going to be back to your father's house where you have adequate supervision.
Okay, that
All
works.
right.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes, Ms. Ross.
Hi, I am Tara Ross. I'm a Parker County Juvenile Probation Officer.
Okay.
And I also have a pending case on her for possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram.
Okay. Was it methamphetamine?
It was methamphetamine. Of even more concern, when she was, when 911 was called, she was actually high on fentanyl that day. And so she was released to the hospital. And then the case was referred to me out of custody. So I just want it to be on record that this is obviously a continued pattern.
Sure.
And
Ms. Ross, can I ask, does she have a pending case or has she been adjudicated in Parker County?
it is still pending.
It's still pending. Dad, where do you live?
2008 Lexi Lane,
I'm sorry, what county do you live in?
Tarrant.
Tarrant County. All right. And where does grandma live?
She lives in Parker County.
Parker County. And so are there existing court orders as far as where Nicole's supposed to live?
Well, her mother has guardianship over it.
Okay. So I guess there was a divorce in the past?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay. So the law states that a juvenile judge can supersede another judge's orders for possession and access while a juvenile case is pending. All right. So you don't, at this point, it is not whatever that judge had previously said is kind of on hold. It goes secondary to what I say during a juvenile case. Once the case is over, it reverts back to what another judge had ordered. Okay.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at now. We need, what county does mom live in?
She lives in Tarrant County.
In Tarrant County as well. Okay, so I think Tarrant County, Ms. Ross, Tarrant County may look like the proper jurisdiction.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure y'all aren't, I don't know. I know Tarrant County's resources are probably a little bit bigger than Parker County's. So that may actually end up better because it looks like we're gonna have a lot of treatment involved for this child. And so, so I'm sure that's.
I apologize for interrupting. I did call Odyssey House yesterday and spoke with them about a potential placement if that's something that
Oh, yes.
would be interested in researching.
Could you contact, I think it's Mr. Larha, is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Have y'all communicated about this before?
Briefly.
Okay.
The probation officer and me.
Yes, Mr. Larha, all right. Yeah, if we can just coordinate, I mean, I love you guys out in Parker County. So if you've done a lot of the legwork and stuff, I'd love to piggyback off of y'all so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so we'll figure out what's best, but I'm kind of curious what we can do. Well, Ms. Laura, do you have notes last time I held Nicole? How long did she stay here for?
Let me see, she was,
4 or 5 hours, I believe.
yeah, just few hours, Your Honor.
Just a few hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, yeah, we're. You know what, Nicole, we're gonna get to level 1 and hold her for 3 days. Because if evidently it looked like you were caught with methamphetamine on your possession. And so I'm just worried about how recently you use and how much you're using. So I'd like to kind of monitor you and make sure how things are. So it's going to be level 1.0 and hold it for 72 hours. At that point, if you're level 1.0 and you're willing to accept all the supervision from your father, then I'm willing to give you a chance and release you to him on electronic monitor with a sweat patch. Nicole, do you understand what a sweat patch is?
No, sir.
Okay, a sweat patch is basically a sticker we put on your arm and it absorbs the oil coming out of your skin. And anytime you use any substances, it naturally gets secreted through your skin and the patch collects it and we send the patch off to the lab and we can test. It's a 24/7 monitoring. You can't time it, you can't fool it, there's nothing you can do. It's a single-use sticker, so if you try and take it off, it'll never stick back again. And so it's just a 24/7 monitoring. That way we know if you're using anything at all, as opposed to your analysis, which you can try and time your use around your samples, okay? So just to let you know what you're looking at. Ms. Lahara, let's go ahead and get a hair follicle test as well. I'm kind of curious what other substances she's been using, whether it's only methamphetamines or other things. So let's go ahead and get that sample. That gives our probation a better idea of the bigger picture of what's going on. Ms. Ross, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's go ahead and do that. I want a bigger snapshot, a better picture of what's happening. Now, Nicole, I'm gonna let you know if you start testing positive for things other than methamphetamine, then the deal's off. All right, so we may look at other things. I'm just based on what I'm seeing right now, based on what your dad's representing to me, what Ms. Ross is, Mr. Lahara. That's the deal right now. And you can always make the situation worse. Okay.
May I say one more concern?
Yes.
My understanding is, and Mr. Lahara, if you could confirm this per our conversation earlier, is that the amount that she was found with yesterday morning was a significant amount, I believe more than personal use.
It was 120.97 grams.
20, what, did you say 120?
120.97 grams.
120.
0.97 grams.
I thought I saw possession under a gram. Can I see that? Nicole? Oh, it's 4 to 200.
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, no. Oh, I was looking at her history from last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's 100, almost 200 grams.
120.97 grams.
120. Okay.
120.
Yeah, Nicole.
Baby.
Yeah, Nicole, this is too much. All right. Decisions have consequences, and we started deciding to become a drug dealer or a mule, and then that changes things. I'm not going to let you go because I don't want you found in a ditch somewhere. All right. All right. So, Ms. Ross, thanks for bringing that to my attention. Yeah, I thought it was just under a gram. So, so I still want the hair follicle test, but I just want to go ahead and detain her for now. Let's see what options are. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, you're at a crossroad in your life now where you're involved with the criminal justice system, and you need to make some hard decisions about where you're going. If you want to live the lifestyle that you're living, then you can. That's your option. You will get out of here. You'll get out from the juvenile courts, but it's not a happy and not a good path. If you decide this is the point in your life where you're done with it, you're going to leave it behind you, then you need to prove that to me. And I'm going to watch you over a period of time make that decision. But I am not inclined to let a 16-year-old drug dealer out on the streets practicing what I'm seeing. Nicole, don't lie to me. Well, I'm not seeing good things happen to 16-year-old girls that end up in the drug trade. Okay? So
It was in
I'm thinking about it,
water.
make some decisions.
What, baby?
Water. It was in water.
Nicole,
And they counted water again.
Nicole, I'm gonna suggest that you don't speak any further, okay?
I would listen to your attorney. All right, Nicole. All right, so we'll do Daniel Garcia.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why am I missing the police report for Daniel Garcia? Did I give that back to you, Mary? All right, Mr. Garcia, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Adler is here as your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Adler.
Good morning, Judge.
So, all right, Daniel, this is the argument, ex-girlfriend, and so we're leaving. Daniel allegedly pulled out a small gun, shot towards Maria. Your ex-girlfriend, her mom, and her husband. And then the mom was hit in the shoulder. They found casings. Pursuit. Daniel's vehicle wrecked. In custody, there was a Glock 19. Oh, this is the one where allegedly you hid a gun in the children's area of a restaurant. And so, and then there was also a 11-month-old child in the car that you wrecked out in. So, and you're not level 1 outstanding. So Daniel, if you're not level 1 outstanding, I'm not going to let you go.
What level am I?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what level I am?
You're level 1 acceptable.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm not saying that if you're level 1 outstanding, I'm going to let you go. I'm just saying if you're not level 1 outstanding, I'm not going to let you go. You have to get level 1 outstanding before I even consider it, and then I weigh everything else out. But I don't even start thinking about it if you can't be level 1 out. All right, Daniel, so I'm going to go and detain you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adler. You're excused to go to the other court proceeding.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Aaliyah Jenkins. Hiding a gun in the children's area of a restaurant.
Yes, sir.
All right, Aaliyah, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days where you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And your attorney, Ms. Barrows, is here. If I remember this one, this is the Arlington police officer that was off duty at QT. 2 kids came out, one with a gun, one hopped over. I think this is the one where you, let's see, allegedly that you were identified as the one with a gun pointing at the police officer while robbing him. So at this point, I'm still not comfortable releasing you. This is a serious offense involving a gun. And so you have to show me a pattern of behavior that convinces me that it's safe to release you to the community. I think also Ms. Guerrero, she has pending cases in Dallas. Is that correct?
She has a pending case with Irving PD, sir. I left a message for the detective and I have not heard back from him.
Okay. Now, Leah, I'm going to let you know, I don't know when your case here in Tarrant County is going to resolve, but I will let you know that if Dallas is moving faster than we are when we ease the COVID restrictions, I'm okay releasing you to Dallas so you can take care of your business there and returning you here after. At this point, if it's still under investigation, there's no real case yet, so we're going to go and keep you here. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you.
Or Jenkins. All right, thank you. All right, Roger Jones.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Guerrero.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Barrows. All right, Mr. Jones. Roger Jones. There we go, Mr. Jones. I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. And this is the murder case, spending the night with a friend and ended up wanting to rob them for their phones. So shot mom's boyfriend and killed him and then ran off. On video, talking with your co-respondent about the homicide. And then, Evelyn, now you're level 2 and you had dropped down in February to level 3 unacceptable for talking, not following instructions, not doing schoolwork. So Roderick, if you're not level 1 outstanding, I'm not even considering releasing you. We're going to detain you. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Caleb Bold. It's really kind of simple, isn't it?
Judge Kim,
Yes.
I'm covering for Miss Huey for Caleb Olds.
What if I say no? All right, Mr. Olds, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days where you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Hall, is here. So this is I remember the CVS parking lot over vape THC cartridges, and allegedly you went to the car, backseat, held the gun to the driver's head, tried to rob her. She said no, so Emily shot her. So, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. So, seems like the arrangement for the vape oil cartridges was arranged through Snapchat. Search warrants came back to you and arrested in Groesbeck, Texas. And so you're looking at capital murder charge. You're level 1 outstanding. Now, you know our deal, Caleb. If you're 17 and you're not level 1 outstanding, I'm going to go ahead and house you downtown. My question then is for Ms. Hall, why did his behavior level drop 2 days ago? He just got to level 1 outstanding 2 days ago. What happened?
He was on level 1 acceptable before that. He had a couple of infractions for not following instructions, but he's pretty much been on level 1 the entire time. He's dropped to 1 acceptable twice.
Tell me, oh, he's gone to level 1 acceptable twice. When was the previous time?
It was on March the 2nd.
For also talking or not following instructions?
It doesn't say in the system.
And you were on probation at the time when this happened for evading arrest with a motor vehicle. You got probation before for credit card fraud, burglary of a vehicle. No, you had deferred prosecution for burglary of a vehicle, stealing a car. Yeah, Caleb, I'm not going to release you because I think you're a flight risk. And you're also smoking weed while you're on probation.
You said I'm a sir, excuse me, sir.
Hold on a second. I'm reading. Yeah. But Caleb, I expect our 17-year-olds. Do we have a parent here?
Yes, I'm here, Judge.
Okay. Latara. So I expect our 17-year-olds to be examples for the other kids here in our detention facility. It is not a right to be held in the juvenile detention facility when you're 17. It is a privilege that I grant the kids if they do the right thing. But if you've dropped down twice to level 1 acceptable while you're here, that means you are setting a bad example for the other kids. And I'm going to remove you from the children here at Kimbo because you're actually disrupting their path to rehabilitation. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. I'm going to go ahead and transfer you to the Tarrant County Jail. Thank you, Mr. Olds.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. All right, so Peyton Scott has waived his hearing. Next, we have Norman Walsh. Mr. Walsh. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Walsh. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. Deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Ms. Carter, your attorney is here. Good morning, Virginia.
Hi, Judge.
All right, so Norman, so you're 16, you're almost 17, you're level 1 outstanding, have been for almost a month now. Good. And let's see, you're referred by Fort Worth PD. Say there's a welfare check. When they arrive, talk to your grandfather. Oh, that's right. This is our, hi, Grandpa, how are you?
Fine, I'm fine.
Good to see you again, sir.
Yeah, I did my exercise this morning.
Is that by coming to court or you do something else?
No, I was amusing myself since it's so lonely in the house. I just, me and the cat were exercising.
Well, I will tell you, I hope to be doing as well as you are when I'm 91, if I make it to 91.
I wish you'd put that in writing. Because I've been accused of being an old fogey, all kinds of things, and it's exasperating. And I don't want to hurt you, okay?
All right, so where are we now? What are we, I mean, I'm looking, Grant, I really want to know from Mr. Ortiz, from Grandpa, and from Ms. Carter, where are we going with this one? It seems like Norman has other issues going on. I'm not sure juvenile detention is really going to help those issues. My concern is I have to make sure that Norman is safe, which I'm not worried about, but the public is safe if I was to release Norman. So where are we?
Which Norman are you talking about?
Okay. Well, I'm Norman Walsh, the juvenile, I want to make sure that
Okay.
he's not harming anybody else if I was to release him. I want to release him from here. I don't think he belongs here. He may need a more structured environment, but I don't think Kimbo is appropriate. But the law says if I can't find a place for him that the community remains safe, I must keep him here. So what are my options, Ms. Carter?
Judge, I do know that APS and CPS are involved. I can tell you that his grandfather wants him home. I can tell you that Normie wants to go home. He's on level 1 outstanding. And I think Lynn has some more information, probably a lot more than I do, actually.
All right.
Your Honor, I've spoken with the children of Mr. Walsh. They've contacted me and expressed some high concerns of how their dad would be treated by Norman based on his historical activities, maltreatment toward the alleged maltreatment toward Mr. Walsh, and they're significant. The other thing is that I know that APS is also involved, and the worker is going to be contacting Mr. Walsh to set up a time in order to meet with him. I've spoken with the CPS worker. I don't know if that's her right behind Mr. Walsh, but I know that she also has some information that she's wanting to consider, and that may be helpful for you to decide. I would not be unwilling to consider possible placement, as you mentioned earlier. Maybe detention may not be the place. Maybe I can consider this case to be a placement option if you desire. But that's, and I'm also waiting for the psychological to come back on the 29th in order to make but to also provide that information to the attorneys and to yourself if necessary. But there hasn't been a petition that's been filed, and that's the only information that I have.
So what, do we have somebody from the department here?
Child Protective Services?
Yes,
Yes,
Child Protective.
that's me.
Okay, if you could, thank you. So what plan do y'all have?
I'm sorry?
What plan do y'all have?
Well, I was waiting on the psychological evaluation to determine what, really to take it from there to determine if he is fine to go back with his grandfather, or if he's gonna, it just depends what the court also decides what's the best thing for him. But really, I'm just waiting on the psychological evaluation to move from there.
Judge, the problem with the psych is that it's not supposed to be for 2 weeks, and then the result of that won't be back for 3 weeks. Since there's no petition that's been filed, and Normie is on level 1 outstanding. He wants to go home. His grandfather wants to go home. I don't think we have any problem with some rules and procedures put in place by APS or CPS. They're going to do their job, but I'd have to agree with you that detention is probably not a place for him.
I don't think it's healthy for him, not with his particular situation or needs. All right, so Normie, can you hear me? That's a yes.
You can talk, Normie.
Okay. And Normie, if this is true, where you're being physical with your grandfather, that you're holding a knife, I'm not saying it is, but if it's true, do you understand how that puts everything in a different situation?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand, like, words are one thing, getting upset or kind of withdrawing to your room is another thing. But when there's an actual physical action that can threaten somebody, do you understand how it just looks different to a judge?
Yes.
Do you understand that if I let you go, that you absolutely cannot do anything physical?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's no confusion about this one, right? Very literally, anytime it turns physical, even if it's a threat of something physical, you understand that that gets me involved in a different level, right?
Yes.
And it's not just you, but that's every kid in Tarrant County. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do I have to worry about you if I was to release you of either being physical with your grandfather or threatening to be physical? And this is not just your grandfather, but anybody. Do I have to worry about you being physical with anybody or threatening physical harm to anybody?
No.
Okay. We got a deal, right?
Yes.
All right. So, Grandpa, I've got a question for you. Does Normie have a history of running away?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so. All right. So, Normie, I'm going to release you. All right. CPS and APS are both going to have certain conditions to protect you and your grandfather. Okay. So you have to follow by those rules, but I'm opening the door for you to go home. But you understand that if you are either physical or threaten to be physical with anybody, I'm going to bring you back here.
Yes.
Okay. You want to give this a shot?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I think you know enough about me that even though I don't want to bring you back, I will bring you back if I feel like I have to, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Normie, let's give this a chance, all right?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Carter.
Okay, see you later.
See you later.
Your Honor.
Mr. Van Wilson.
Right?
No, sir, you're very young, very young spirited.
All right, Mr. Wilson, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to be silent. You have a right to an attorney. Attorney, Ms. Hamrick. I think I've seen her. Ms. Hopkins, I guess if you can substitute in for Ms. Hamrick.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jermaine, you're 16. You're on determinate sentence probation. You were just placed under determinate sentence probation in 2019 for 6 years for aggravated robbery using a gun. And then now you're referred by Fort Worth PD in January. There's dispatch for domestic. Oh, this is the one where evidently you bought a car and your baby mama wasn't happy with the car, staying with her. And they're saying you threatened to shoot her and the family.
She was calling with me, Judge Kim.
Handgun on you, that matches the description. Let's see. No, they found a handgun in the car that was in dispute, and that they found the box of the handgun in the bedroom that you share with your kid's mom. And you're a documented gang member. So you're looking at an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. One of your conditions of probation was not to be around weapons. You also had probation before for assaulting a public servant. You got arrested for ag assault with a deadly weapon back in 17. Now you have new aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon. So I know you're level 1 outstanding. I'm glad that you are, but I have a deep concern if I was to release you, that you would be a harm to yourself, to others. So I'm going to continue to detain you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
But Judge Kim, what if it's not true? Like, when you find out that it's not true?
So that is something that you have to talk to Ms. Hamrick, your attorney, about fighting the case. I don't know if it's true or not true. So you're being very respectful. So I want to explain this part to you. So what the law says is I'm supposed to consider the reports that I'm given, and I'm supposed to assume that it's true. This is because this isn't a trial. This isn't deciding whether you did or not. I'm just taking the report that the police give our probation department and they give to me, and assuming that it's true. If it makes it a violation of our law, then I have to go forward and decide whether to detain you or not. The fact that you're on probation and this is involved for an offense using a weapon, a gun, and you're also, according to the report, also found with a gun in your possession, then that makes me very hesitant to release you. Yes, do you have another question?
Can I at least be released on the month to my birthday in 2 days, Judge Kim? I do not, it's hard here, Judge Kim. I know that it's a consequence. It's very hard when you ain't do nothing. I let people bully me. I'm a big guy now. People bully me, and it's hard for me to just let it go. I let it go though, just like the next time I left it. So I can feel here. It's hard for me, Judge Kim.
Right. So, and Ms. Hopkins, he's not talking about the offense, so I'm a little more comfortable. If he gets there, I'll cut him off. So, Mr. Wilson, I get it, but here's the thing. A lot of kids are going through the same thing, right? With the bullying, with the confrontation, with the conflict, okay? That is part of why I give so much weight to the level 1 outstanding, to the behavior levels, is because for somebody to make and keep level 1 oath, that means they're walking away when people are confronting them. The ones that stand up and throw down, they're the ones that drop in levels. So that's why it's so important. It's actually kind of a test, and you're passing the test. So if you're not level 1 outstanding, I wouldn't even consider this. I'm going to let you know every time we have these hearings that I consider your behavior level, the fact that you kept your behavior level, you are scoring points with me every time you do. All right. But it's not one of those, you just got to get there and then automatically you're out. This offense is serious.
I've been old since I've been here. I've been old since I've been here. I've been old. I never got an A. Never got an A. I never got a B. I've been an O. It's I'm trying to show you that I'm eligible out there in the world. I don't. It's hard for me, Judge Kim. I don't want to be in here. I was in here last time for a long time. I don't want to be in here no more.
No, and it's not lost on me. Like, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to do this. What you just have to remember is, given the offense that you were looking at using a firearm that you're on probation for, and now we have witnesses saying that you had another gun and was threatening people with it, that is what's making me slow down. I'm not giving up on you. I'm just slowing down. Please understand that there are kids I do release when they've been behaving well over a period of time. But when it involves guns, everyone back there knows Judge Kim is really, really cautious anytime a gun is involved. Okay? I'm very, very cautious. I
don't have access to nothing, Judge Kim. We just moved. I don't know. We can move. I moved with my mom. I don't none of that. I got a son raised. I'm missing him. I missed his first words. I missed his 2 teeth. I missed everything. My birthday is coming up. I'm missing everything. And it's not a cause for Judge Kim. I just want to go home. I'm falling into a depression. I've been keeping myself up. I've been trying to maintain my level. I keep myself up. I read my Bible. But that's only gonna work for so long, Judge Kim. I'm only human.
All I can say is don't give up. This is part of when you're accused of having a gun around you. And at the end of the day, you still had a gun in the car that you bought, and there was the box for that gun in the bedroom that you were sleeping in. And so whether or not it's yours or not, but either you made decisions that were in violation of probation, or you're choosing to be around people that you shouldn't have been around. And that was your poor decision. All right. And that's going to be the difference between you revoking your probation, going to prison or not, is whether you made a poor choice or whether your choice was breaking your probation or the choice was hanging around people that you shouldn't have been. All right. So don't get discouraged. I know it's discouraging. Don't give up, because I am paying attention. In my mind, you're getting credit for every good decision that you're making. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right. So at this point, these proceedings have been broadcast to the public to provide the public with meaningful access to the courts. However, the law states in Chapter 54 of the Texas Family Code that when a child is under 14 years old, that the proceedings must be closed to the public unless the court finds that it is in the best interest of the child or the public to continue to have the hearings open to the public. So I'm going to discontinue the live stream because the remaining children are under 14 years old. And we need 30 seconds for the tape delay. I still laugh whenever I say tape delay. Tape delay is like when you actually had tape. That's all digital, like hanging up the phone. Yeah, when's the last time you actually hung up the